Recording is on.
Hola, hola. Welcome to DXdev Weekly Developer Call, November the 8th. We are going to go through a review of each squad on what has been happening the last week in the developer level. And I think we don't have anything else on the agenda yet. We don't have anything else uh, um, to talk about. Most of the last week discussion have been directed towards the phase 2 restructure proposal that is now live, and yeah, let's see how that goes. Seems like in the future this is going to affect directly on how the squads are managed, since we are pushing for a 6-month budgeting and a more independence from the squads. So that has been the discussion around, and now maybe we can talk about that later if we have time and we feel like we want to talk about it. But first, let's go through a review of each squad. So let's start. Let's start with DXGov. Was here?
Yeah, here. I don't think we have anything super new to talk about since last week. The team's still been focusing on getting the 1.5 audit fixes done and returned to Omega team. So that's been the main focus. We just had a call going over some architecture plans for the subgraph, which is exciting. So we plan to have subgraph support for both guilds and the 1.5 contracts. In Davi, it will just speed things up, make our RPC bill a bit cheaper, and allow us to build some additional things, which is pretty cool. We also had a release, so Davi is officially in public beta. It's still public beta is a bit misleading because we're not opening up to everyone to go and test immediately. It's still being used initially just in DXdev to test it out, to get feedback and to improve things, but we're now on production networks. So we're on mainnet and Gnosis chain. And everything's been going well. We're getting some good feedback as well from Sky and Wayne. And we can actually use it to update ENSs, which is pretty nice. With a guild, I think there's a few use cases we're planning on using it with as well, but I think that's it in terms of technically interesting stuff. I don't know if Augusto, you want to talk about anything on the contract side. It's mostly just been fixing things, I guess.
Yeah, from the smart contract side, we are finishing the fixing the vulnerabilities. The issues that were submitted by Omega on the 1.5 report. We have the last pull request regarding a scheme refactor, and yeah, now we are going to work on the test and get higher coverage. So that's the idea, use these days to improve the documentation, the explanations of the command of 1.5, the test coverage, like I said, and we are going to work on that. And I guess on the end of the week, Friday, we are going to be sending back the report back to Omega. So that will be everything for DXGov. After that, the idea what we will have to start working on is integrated governance 1.5 on Davi. The way I think it will work, we will have to first create add it for the script on development to deploy on localhost, start testing on development, then deploy to on Go Early, see how it works, and finally, once we receive the final report from Omega, we can do a deployment on Gnosis and start moving some funds there and start utilizing the DAO 1.5 in Gnosis chain. And then mainnet. But first, we can start working on, like I said, localhost, Go Early, test networks till we receive the report, and then we are going to start the migration in Gnosis chain. And yeah, that will be everything maybe we can continue. Let's continue with Carrot, and we leave
Actually,
Stopper and Nimi at
Augusto,
the end. Adam.
Augusto,
Yes.
just like maybe one question, actually, probably more for Ross. Is the current version of Davi, can you launch a reputation-based governance system, or is it only token?
Yeah, we have reputation guilds deployed. There's one in mainnet we've been using it to update ENS names, and we have 2 on Gnosis chain as well.
Yeah, because like I think that's I think we all have our positive thoughts about reputation, but I also think that's something like not really in the market right now too, and it's kind of easier to do so. I actually had someone I was mentioning that to who was thinking about it. So I think that's a really cool thing. Maybe we could lean in a little bit more in terms of even like the branding and the go to market on that. And then the second thing related to that is, Augusto was talking about the budget stuff earlier, and I think it would be great for whatever squad, whatever squad is receiving a budget from DXDAO, that is somehow being run through a guild. And I actually think it would be better run through some like reputation guild or something like that. But maybe that, I don't know if that's a reasonable goal for
that
all
was the plan. My thoughts on that was hoping that DXGov could be the first one, just since we're very familiar with how Devi works, and then we can maybe write some documentation for other squads to follow suit.
When we are talking about repetition, we are talking about non-transferable token, right? That will be ERC20 token that is non-transferable, that will be minted and burned through the guild, right? We are not talking about using the existing reputation token to deploy a guild around that, just deploying.
So my question maybe is, this could be like any token, right?
This could be any token that is already deployed. Any ERC token that is deployed, you can create an ERC20 guild and say this guild work with this token, and that's it. So first you deploy the token and then the guild. It can work with any existing token.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's sort of like my question. I think, there are lots of sort of initiatives in the space to do like from verified credentials to like NFTs and stuff like that. And like, I'm wondering, basically if it would make sense to like, if you, I don't know, with POAPs or something, or, give voting power to like ERC 721 as well, or, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm just on the evenings and the weekends, I've been working on an NFT guild that can work with POAPs. I think it's a bit more difficult when you're talking about like general reputation protocols. I think there's quite a lot of interest in those, but it gets more difficult when you say, oh, do you want to trust your treasury to what this protocol deems as like a reputable person taking the reputation?
I mean, this is kind of like for the future, I guess. Like,
right now,
and maybe like how others will see, sort of how others will be able to use this, right?
Elon, this is not necessarily for the future. This is actual like use cases that if we had this, and I've communicated this with Ross and Augusto, if we had this actual ability, there's actual use cases today that we can explore, but it's not something that it's possible. And figuring out how to do it in a smart way, whether you need to lock up your NFTs or whether you can just reference the NFTs, is a technical challenge, I guess. Augusto, I mentioned it to you in Bogota as well, but I said the sooner we can do it, the sooner we have a use case. But it's not currently available. But Ross,
it's
I know
in PR.
Yeah.
But
exactly how it works, it also matters. Yeah, like if you're locking your NFT versus you're referencing a snapshot of NFT holders at a certain point of time, and whether
no locking, no locking, no modifications to the token contract is what I've managed. I think I managed to do. I haven't tested it. It compiles.
Yeah. What do we?
Super cool.
Since the ERC20 guild is designed to work with an existing token, right? I mean, with an ERC20 token. You can work with an existing token, but you're constrained by the features of that token that that token had, right? So, for example, for the DXZ guild, we are using the snapshot ERC20 guild, which means that when you lock tokens, when you lock the DXZ, you are taking the voting power that is taken in account is regarding all the DXZ that is locked in the guild. So that is where the snapshot comes to work on the DXZ token. The idea on the future, since we have a DXZ token work, the DXZ token working group already happening, and we are going to do changes on the DXZ token in the future. The idea is to integrate also the snapshot functionality. So every time you make a transfer on DXZ, you're going to be registered on a snapshot, and we will be able to know how much balance do you have of DXZ at a certain point in time. This is a very, very, very important feature for ERC20 guilds, because it protects against liquid governance, right? So if you have a token that already has a snapshot functionality built in, you don't need to lock tokens in the guild to use it. Right now we need to, because DXZ is not a snapshot token, so we need to create that snapshot functionality on the guild. But if you have a token that has the snapshot functionality, you don't have to lock tokens in the guild, because the guild is already designed to work with this snapshot functionality, knowing how much tokens you had at a certain point in time, and you vote with that tokens. So this is something that we are going to have in the future, where it's going to be way more easy to use, for example, DXZ to vote on the DXZ guild.
Yeah, Augusto, the thing you said in the beginning, how it's supposed to work, we were playing around with it yesterday. I'm not sure if it's depending on what the setup is, whether it's snapshot or not snapshot for DXD guild. There seem to be some odd things that I think Ross and Dino are looking at, but it might be good to have you look as well. If you're saying if it's snapshot, you don't need to do certain things, and snapshot you do, but there's some weird discrepancies happening.
That was just a UI bug. We fixed that. But yeah, we can rerun that test for you today as well.
You'll try it again. Sweet.
Yeah, I'll message you.
So yeah, don't confuse a snapshot with a snapshot application. That's another thing. This is a snapshot feature that comes on an ERC20 token. If you don't have it, you can use it on the guild level, which it is encouraged to use it. But the ideal thing will be, if you have an ERC20 token, have that snapshot feature built in. That will be way easier, because you can create a safe governance platform just around your snapshot ERC20 token.
But Ross, you mentioned, you may have figured out a way to do it with NFTs that don't have snapshot built in. If you can do it with NFTs without snapshot built in, can't you do it with ERC20s with snapshot built in?
No, the way I managed to get around it is pretty specific to NFTs, because you know that this NFT is this NFT. You can track it going between different, like if someone transfers, it's still this NFT. Whereas if you transfer an ERC20, it's fungible, so you can't.
Yeah, it's fungible.
Yeah.
And what about and is it different with 1155s as well?
I don't know enough about how they work.
Okay.
That's you mean the other implementation of NFTs? The other ERC Sky?
Yeah, like 1155, like a more fungible NFT. So I don't know if each one is as specifically unique as a 721, and whether or not that would work. Because some people's NFTs are actually 1155s and not 721s, right? So I'm just thinking for the other use cases, yeah.
The main issue is trying to get around double voting. So like if you transfer this token to another account, can you work out that this token's already been used to vote with? And with ERC20s, unless you're locking them, you can't. Or if you have a snapshot built into the contract, but we're trying to, for NFTs, make it so that you don't need to design your NFT or use a specific implementation to use guilds, you should be able to use it with just the standard Open Zeppelin ERC 721, which is also what POAP is using, which is one of the immediate use cases.
I think my question is, there's that one project. I think we have a Telegram group with Otter DAO, something like that, and they produce like NFTs for like
Other space.
Yeah, Outer Space. Yeah, they produce NFTs for, I guess things that you do in a DAO, and then I guess that could be like an interesting thing to explore, like for us.
Yeah, we need to look at it. I get the feeling they're very similar to POAPs. And so I guess if we support POAPs, there's probably not too much, but we'd have to look at the implementation and the source code to see how they work, or yeah.
We have 2 open experimental pull requests, if we want to call it like that, regarding guilds. One is the one of Ross of NFT guilds, and another one is mine, which is an anonymous ERC20 guild using zero knowledge proof that uses NFT, also NFT guilds. So yeah, I think those are, I don't know if it's going to be like, wow, game changer, but that is going to be very interesting and very cool once we have it implemented. Anonymous voting, we need to implement using using NFT guilds, because again, it needs to be non-fungible. So yeah, hopefully we are going to have more time to work on this once we get over governance 1.5. That's the idea, to have this implement, to continue working the next year on these experimental implementations. Actually, even more on off-chain signatures, sharing signatures off-chain, and anonymous voting, like using zero knowledge proof. Which again, we need to share signatures off-chain for that. So
yeah, and something I asked, and I still don't know the answer, but this DXD guild that is live on Gnosis chain, is this the actual DXD guild? Because we're doing testing and stuff on it, and should we be doing testing on the actual live DXD guild that's going to be the DXD guild, or should we be doing this somewhere else?
Yeah, I mean, it's not impacting anything that it does. If you go through and look at the past proposals, you'll see some there, but there's no reason particularly that it should be that we shouldn't test on it. It has 100 rep right now, so we need to do a test to vote with that as well. But until it has the 4% rep, it's not really, there's nothing special about it other than the fact that it uses the DXD token.
yeah, first we need to test it on Gnosis. I mean, we have tests for that already written in smart contracts, but the idea will be to test it on Gnosis chain, use that voting power, use that reputation from the guild, right, on Gnosis chain, and then yeah, when we see that we like it, we can deploy it again on mainnet. The very important thing is that this guild will need to be redeployed once we upgrade the DXD token. Once we finish the DXD token working group, there is going to be some work that will need to be done there. And this is going to help us improve the guild, because you won't need to lock tokens anymore. So this is a very bare bone version of the guild, just to start experimenting with it, but it's not the final one. Actually, it's not that the one that we want. The one that we want is the DXD guild with a snapshot mechanism built in, and then we can use the ERC20 guild. The ERC20.
Just to clarify, the snapshot is built into the token, whereas right now it's in the contract. Yeah.
Just wanted to make one kind of comment based on what kind of Nylon was saying in Sky, and actually to what Augusto was saying about the anonymous voting, because you're thinking about like, well, what are the market opportunities for groups to try and use this? But I think like ERC20 tokens, most ERC20 tokens out there already have some governance system that they're already using, whether it's like an on-chain one or they're using like Snapshot or something. And it's just like always difficult to get people to just transfer over from using an existing system, it's a bit more easier from a like go-to-market perspective on going after people who are doing things for the first time or setting up things for the first time. And that's why I think the NFT ones are interesting, because like there's not that much NFT governance out there. So a lot of them may be setting that up at the looking to set that up now and are kind of experimenting there. So it could be a good market opportunity. That's the same way I was thinking about the rep guild, because it turns out right now everyone thinks launching a token is a very, very bad idea. So I don't think anyone wants to launch a new ERC20 token DAO and use guild, but I think people would be maybe interested in using something like rep, the reputation system for that. And that's something that you could like have a market opportunity there. And then just Augusto, you're talking about the anonymous voting. That is something that could be appealing to an existing project that has a governance system to maybe try to get them to switch, because that's like a feature that clearly isn't on any other governance platform. And I think all of those are kind of can help us think about like where is the strategic direction for the market opportunity for the use case of Davi.
Yeah, definitely. Me and Sky were talking about that last week. But yeah, I'm pretty sure basically everyone we've talked to so far about guilds has been more interested, or there's been like more opportunity from the rep side. I don't know if we will or not, but I think it might even make sense for us to even push down the soulbound phrasing of things. People are pretty well aware of what soulbound is. Rep doesn't necessarily quite describe what a lot of these use cases would be using it for. Like non-transferable actually fits in a bit better because like if it's just a small group of like 3 people, your reputation isn't. I don't know. I think soulbound is a cool thing to explore in like marketing material potentially.
Yeah, I feel like non-transferable reputation and soulbound is kind of like the same thing, only Vitalik means soulbound, so it's now that's how it's treated.
Yeah,
I mean, it is the same thing.
Yeah,
it is the same.
Yeah,
on
it's
the code
exactly
level,
the same.
it's the same.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Only Vitalik made a very strong meme.
Yeah. Okay. Let's continue. Let's continue with the rest of the projects. Fede, are you there? Do you have good connection? It seems like you are in red. Can you update on Carrot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so on Carrot, past week worked again on the creation flow for the ERC20 KPI token. I've got it to a point where it's working, even though it's in a very like rough shape right now, I'd say. So right now it's mostly like a proof of concept for the architecture that I was thinking about using for Carrot. And so it's working so far, and it's gonna be mostly used as a proof of concept, and also to show the like Boris and Dirk and the designers how this would work basically, so they can actually work on a design on it. And so that will be probably the next step. Paolo has been onboarded and he started to directly help right now with Carrot, so that's also pretty good news. And I'll just keep working on the creation flow stuff, and probably soon we will start working on the actual designs with the help of Paolo and potentially someone else.
Okay. Awesome. Gracias. Adam, can you? Sorry, Chris, I'm going to mute you guys. You have noise in the background. Adam, can you hear? Yeah.
Of course. All right. So I think nothing has changed on Swapper side. Like, as everyone knows, like we're trying to wind down everything, trying to decide what Swapper next is gonna do. We're exploring 3 routes. I think there's going to be a forum post soonish, or if I submit a proposal, maybe I haven't decided on those things. That's good. You're more knowledgeable on that topic. But we did like Last week we did a release for beta 17, and then we did like a patch release, beta 17.1. We realized there's Alchemy is still down, so we have like another interface. Sadly, there's still no proposal from the community to update the ENS. Hopefully there's going to be something soon. But that's it for like Swapper, but also we discussed the day we had like a call, like 30 minutes before the dev call we discussed like expeditions, what should be the next steps. NFTs, designs, ERC 1155, just the one Sky mentioned. And I think you probably don't need it, Sky. It depends on your use case, so that could be like an extra. But it's usually mostly for game items. For our use case, but I think we're just gonna go with like ERC 721, because the idea is that you have like some sort of a point system. We call those points fragments. They have no dollar value attached to them, and you can basically burn those at the server. The server is going to give you like a signature that proves you've actually burned it. And then you can do like an on-chain transaction where you can claim the NFT that represents that number of fragments. So for example, if you have like 750, your NFT is less likely or is going to be more rare than the person who had 500 fragments. So that's it for Swapper and expeditions in general. I think we're probably on track to see if we can do like an internal testing environment with like the rest of the DXdev people. But right now, like the API is still there, but we've never really exposed those components to the public. And that's it for Swapper. From Nimi, I think we'll probably have like more exciting things, I guess. And that is that. So I think a few weeks ago, I was telling you about the nifty chat integration, where if you have this widget, you can directly message someone right from their Nimi page. And I'm just attaching a demo where you connect your wallet, you leave that person a message. I'm sorry about your Nifty chat inbox is going to be like super spammed because I've been testing this morning. But the idea is like any ENS address can have like a receiving widget. Any person can connect to the widget and then send their Mimi page a chat, or just drop them a text message. Then you can continue the chat on Nifty chat. So this is sort of a partnership with like Nifty people because they love us and we love them. I think that's everything for Mimi.
Okay, awesome. Great, this Nifty chat is quite cool. I'm going to send a message now.
It's going to Violet because that's the address we use in the demo.
Okay. Well, okay. That was all the squads review. We are not missing anything else. We have the restructure proposal live. Is going to establish priorities board, going to pursue enable community freedom, and accountability councils. I don't know if someone wants to say something around about that regarding development, or how they think. Do you think it's going to affect development? From my side, I see only positive things on this. I don't know if it is like very specific, right, on things that we want to implement, but at least it sets a direction. And I really like the idea of squad having more independence and being able to plan the 6-month budget or objectives, right, that they are going to pursue. So Yeah, that's from me. I'm going to be voting today this proposal. And yeah, I don't know if someone else want to say something about it. Looks like quite a big deal now, but maybe not very related with the development side. Okay, okay. So I guess that was today developer call. I'm going to try to have something prepared for next week. Try to invite someone or prepare something fun to do. So, but yeah, this was everything. Quite short, 35 minutes. Thanks everyone for joining. I think